Hello, I'm John Stephens. I'm the lead developer of Antagonist Games, a totally real company. And you may have noticed I've put on some music in the background. I'm pointing at the music. I found some copyright-free music, hopefully. It's not really to my taste, but I figured it might be better than just stone-cold silence. I'm going to turn it down a little. There you go, just a little. I can turn it down on my ear as well. I don't want it to be louder than I am. Let's turn it down a little bit more. I am a professional outfit. Yes, this is a developer diary. And my original plan for this one was to go, hey, I built a new feature, and this is just a short video to show off that new feature. But I hadn't finished it in time. I've got a day job, which possibly I shouldn't quit. So let's show you what I've been working on and where we need to finish. Move my cup of tea aside. Maybe the nice, relaxing music might help. Who knows? With my thinking, that is. It'll certainly help when I'm deep in concentration and there's lots of dead air. But yeah, I'm not planning on having a 5-hour video this time. I'm going to cut it off. I haven't eaten. I've purposely not eaten. Although I didn't eat last time. I was just really, really hungry at the end of last time. Anyway, I'm waiting for it to render, to build. I'll drink some tea in the meantime. I was thinking of having title cards, which I could still do in post, but I didn't. This might be the first time this version of the game has started. I clunked the mic. Sorry about that. Right. See, it's the old version of the logo. I need to update that. Right. So, move the mouse out of the way. So when you pick this up, you'll notice there is now 3 bars on the right there. And if we walk over to this, it'll tell you it's a faceless Nimbus. That it's got a clay heart, but there's an X over it because it doesn't have a face. In the game, that means you can't actually pick it up. The third one is supposed to be a sort of description. The idea is that I can give... Hang on, if we restart this level. And press resume. So these tutorials, I quite like them. That arrow's a bit much. But I think I'm happy with this. The idea that the tutorial follows you around until you press X. There isn't too much information in the tutorial. It's not overwhelming. There's another example. But I'm going to need to lower it because of where those bars are, which is something I will do. Not a priority because that's a pretty easy thing for me to do. Although, what I thought this was a pretty easy thing to do. But the idea of this is, not only can I just have little bits of flavor text, like Cloud is feeling happy or something like that, something just to subtly tell the story if I wanted to, but I could put hints. So, see this here? I want to communicate with the player that they can drop down through it by pressing down, and that they can jump up through it in the same way that you can with all clouds. With all, not all clouds, all platforms. I need to figure out the terminology. So yeah, so the idea would be you scan that and it tells you. So it's a bit of tutorialization, but it's like not as important. Like I'm pretty confident people will figure that out. Because I'll force them to like walk through clouds and stuff. That little bump there is still happening, which shouldn't be happening. I did say, I think, in that 5-hour video, I think the way to solve that is for me to cut the sizes of these down into a quarter, so I don't have these overlapping tops and rights at the same time. Maybe, who sees? Who sees? Who knows? So yes. So I want to have that, and basically all items to have a little bit of a description. Now, I've made it so it can hide. So if you don't want to see it, it can smoothly go in and out. Yeah, sorry, the music. Which I was pretty happy with. That is not a smooth line, because whenever it's smooth, it looks really odd. So the speed that moves up slows down right at the end there. And it should be pretty obvious if I press my secret button, which doesn't make any sense yet, which is this button here. Oh, how exciting is that? I made it cascade. That took more work than I care to say. It was like on my list of easy things to do. So you're not going to be able to press this button. This is a developer button. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce items that literally exist for writing's sake. Tablets. I call them testaments, I think. They're basically signs. And I thought, instead of like floating in the middle of the screen where the player is, on the right, because I've already got a bunch of stuff on the right, and it will automatically splay out like that. And you might be thinking, okay, so that works with the description. Yes, it does. I'll have like a title there and the rest of the writing there. But what happens if that's closed? Well, it will automatically open when you do that, and it will automatically close when you scan away. That is the plan. So we have to increment that, right? Which is why I order. The very first thing I did was this going outwards, and then I figured out them as one block. The cascade was an effect that again took me a little bit longer, and to make sure it cascaded in the right direction, so the bottom was always last. So the bottom's last going in, and the bottom is first going out, because it feels better that way, and all of them have that kind of slowdown effect. Although it is not as... There's a bit at the end where I don't like it. I've looked at this for a long time, and I just have to sort of live with it. It doesn't seem to like me having all this business going on at once. So sometimes it stutters a tiny bit. And I noticed that, but... Anyway, that's not important. What's important right now is that all I need to do is get a little piece of writing in that. Now, we can put test writing in there quite easily. We go to the workspace. Do I have anything open? We have this. We'll keep this open because this is what's in front of us. And we obviously want our engine open. OBJ engine. There'll be a couple of those. Cool. So if we look at one of these, well, it's in the Dual GUI event. This is where all that is, where it tells me what I'm pointing at and so on and so forth. And this is where I thought it would go. In fact, this line does work. So this line says those different bars. It will these. So right now, hang on. What does that mean? This tells me those numbers. So you don't need to know that. What you need to know. Ooh. Why does slide speed? No, that's fine. Slide speed is supposed to do that. So if I comment this, uncomment this. So this is where these are determined. The sign main text, sign 2, sign 3, 4, 5. That should say 6. That's interesting. That might have fixed the thing. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hang on, no, that's wrong, isn't it? 1, 2, 3. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to save that quickly. We won't make a new version just yet. Right, and so you can see this is a test, and that's what's that equal to. And this here will say, hey, if it doesn't equal no one, which it normally would equal no one, and it should reset. So this doesn't actually need to be in the create event because it will be in a different event. But yes, if it doesn't say no, it will scan whatever that is and draw it. If we press play now, we should be able to get our test text. Now I've got to fill it with the size because I don't know how much stuff I want. My plan was that everything has a short line description, and only things that are specifically signs get the full treatment. In fact, not even full. I'm going to make it dynamic. So if it's only got 3 lines of text, only 3 of them comes out, right? I don't need the full bar. And that should be pretty easy to determine because I physically write all the texts. So we'll press it again. Now I was going to make a room for you, but yeah, this is fine. So this is a test. You can already see this is a test, and you can see that they work fine. And then I can move this in and out. And that it's slightly smaller than that. I don't know how small I can get away with until it's not really readable. It might be that small, see? That's still readable, I think. But I've got quite a big monitor. It's not massive, but... I'd urge people to play at full screen. But... like, that magnifying glass might be bigger than the rest of them. I don't know, obviously I'm aiming for what looks good, rather than what's sensible. But I think having stuff on the right actually sort of makes sense. It doesn't interfere with this guy. And it means I can like put stuff on that side as well if I really want. So yes. Bear in mind, this is supposed to be automatic. It's supposed to, like, as soon as you're not scanning, you scan and it comes up, and as soon as you unscan, in fact, it should interrupt itself as well, which is something I've not programmed yet because I was a bit worried it would break. So yes, the lines work. They're vaguely centered. Now, the one thing I'm not super keen on is the fact that that line is not centered with the rest of it. It kind of works with those first two words. It's very clear that they're sort of separate and they always were like a single word or a couple of words. But this text is always a series of lines, isn't it? Now, this might be fixed by having this be a title card and this being writing. In fact, what I could do... Yes. So I could... when it's a description, I could have it as that size writing. And when it's a title, I can have it as the bigger writing to indicate it's sort of a title for the rest. Because if you're reading signs, they may as well have titles to them. And I may as well take advantage of the shorter bar to have a natural header. So what we'll do is we'll write that in the notes, because I like that idea. And changing that on the fly is reasonably easy to do. But yes, what I want to do is have it scan this. This is a test. It needs to be replaced. In fact, I can keep this as a test. It doesn't matter that it says that, because it's going to be replaced by Nimbus description. So, first thing I want to do is a little note to myself that says, I don't know what this is for, I don't think I need this, that says, okay, it's up here. If we make this full screen. So this determines the font. So this font is, they're both the same thing. That's what I would have to do. Well, we'll write a note. Dynamically change font of sign main. Depending on examine or header. So that is smaller, bigger. We'll put that up there as well, just to tell myself that. Because there's two sets, because one's in white writing, one's in black writing, and there's always a little bit of a shadow, makes the writing pop, and it means I don't have to... It's the easiest way of having the writing actually stand out on the screen. Everything has that basic effect on. I could put some effort into actually making an outline to the text. I don't know how I'd go about that though. I could just have the shadow go all the way around, but that would be a little bit clumsy. But there might be a sensible way. It's not really that important as long as it's readable for the demo. I can sort of spend hours figuring out the perfect font later. I just want to double check that I'm actually recording. I am, but I ramble. We're barely in description, and it's 15 minutes. Although I made a change for the better. So, how does this work? Well, it scans. So if we look at, say, TG type text, So I really shouldn't be using text as a... that should be double equals. That should be double equals. But I shouldn't be using text, a string, as an if statement. I should have a nearby thing that it detects instead, because it's having to analyze more stuff. Rather than saying, is this true or is it false or is this 1, 2, 3? It seemed fine. I figured I had the information. It's not like that long of a line. But yes. So somewhere it's scanning that. Where is it scanning that? Well, we can find that out by searching through. Find all. So it's funny that. So apparently it just gets it from here. So what I could try. We're going to close this down. Is I want sign main text. So we're going to do this one at a time because I've got a terrible habit of trying to do all my stuff at once and then being really surprised when it doesn't work. So I'm going to just do the one thing. Nimbus. Cloud is fluffy. Right, let's see if that works. Now, you might be thinking, hang on, John, shouldn't this all be in an array? I hope you're thinking that, because it's true, it should be. I programmed a lot of this before I understood how arrays worked, and then immediately went, oh, that would have been a great idea. Specifically, if we go into the step event, like every time you, so this is a version of, if the heart is solid, this is all true. If it's hollow, this is all true. And these should all be in a bloody array. It'd be so much easier for me to deal with it. I could copy it from different types. So, like, I wouldn't... What am I saying? It would mean that I wouldn't have to copy and paste this in every single item that has the solid function. Everything that's... It could just point to the array. Anyway, let's... So that did not update. Which is interesting. If disappointing. Now, you'll notice that that doubles up, so it might be... Yeah, because that's a different part of the information. But the reason, pretty obvious now that I think about it. Pretty obvious. I thought I'd already written this code, which is why I forgot to do it again. I still think I have. Let's close this down. So, we're going to want all these open. Picture of a cat on the other screen. So, it's... What was I searching for? This, TG type text. We want to look for it in the engine. So at the start, this is actually all these should be there. What is it? In fact, I probably want this in a separate event, rather than having this awkward list at the bottom of this passive state. So yes. So now that it's going to be blank, it's not going to say anything. It's fine. I can cover this up. So now it will reset all of those to no one when it's done with it. But that's not what I was looking for. Let's keep a looking at this. Okay, so this is, we're going to blank these because this is where I failed to do a thing. Yeah, I'll just comment these. No, what are you doing? Those work fine. This is where I got it from. I think. Fact. Oh yeah, this is where I was doing that. Let's delete those. Just straight up delete it. Even including the main sign. Because what we're going to do is determine whether these are actually working or not. So pretty easy to do that. What was I looking for? PG type text. We'll comment this. Test. I want to determine whether this line of code is actually the determining line of code. And you can see I tried doing everything all at once and it failed, and that's the way of the world. I really do hope this is copyright. It says no copyright music. Music for content creators. That's me. I'm one of those. I'm making content right now. This tea's getting cold. So first of all, it should be blank, right? You shouldn't say this is a test anymore. Nah, which is good. Okay. That's kind of interesting. So, the reason that happens is kind of interesting. So it didn't change it to test, which is interesting. But you'll note that there's a bunch of things that say if that equals denizen or if it equals monolith. It didn't equal any of them. Like the word test wouldn't have done anything. So yes, but we have determined that works like that. The next thing I want to determine you know what? It might be the position of these. Maybe. I'm not sure why we do that. So I want this. This one. That's all I'm caring about right now. I just need the name of it. So what true target is there's a series of things. One, never use the word true target. There's a thing in the game called true, yeah, if true, and it changes it to true target sometimes because I take out the E and hope that fixes. Because hang on, was it like this? Anyway, sometimes it does that and it's really annoying. Equals, I'm just going to say test. All caps. Yes. Wait for it to build. Very exciting when you think you've solved something and then you haven't. But something that you do. I often have. Trust me, I haven't gotten this far without successfully doing things. Move the cursor. So the writing is back, but it is apparently not detecting anything in TrueTarget.sign main text. So surely it should, because cloud is fluffy. We'll put it here as a test. It is solid, but that's not a good way of doing that. I don't want it to be in there. Like, it won't say cloud is fluffy, it should say test. There is one more test I want to do. It's really tempting to not do these tests, but I'm trying to find out exactly why it didn't work the way I expected it to. And being strict like this is a sensible way of doing that. This isn't collision, right? Like, this is not complex, because collision is a bastard. So yeah. So don't worry about that. We'll keep that out. I don't really want that there. You know what? I'm actually going to keep that there with some X's. Just because if it suddenly starts working, I want to determine whether that does anything. No, I don't. Just remove it. Oh, you see that? I put it down there. Comment that. But yeah. Where are we? Okay. That was a legitimate typo. I don't think it would have worked though. Because it didn't change the volume. I want to determine whether this line can change the side main text. I guarantee it does, but... all it's saying is, if the volume isn't blank, put test in that third line. That should work. It does beep because it immediately turns the music off, because I've heard the music a lot. So beautiful. And it doesn't wipe test. Why doesn't it wipe test? Oh! No, hang on. Huh. Interesting. So wherever I put equals nothing, it just isn't doing anything? So else... there's a focus... focus must be what I called it before. Focus is a good name, actually. Let's search for where that is somewhere else. And then that doesn't seem to be doing anything. Let's delete that and comment this and see what happens. May as well not have junk code. Yeah, the other thing is obviously I can stay quiet now while the music's on. Although I've turned it down, that's probably not like good for listening to it. This is a test. Cool. Yeah. We can delete this, it doesn't do anything. And you can see, because it started off as a test, yes. So this needs to start off as a no one. Then apparently the rest is determined in the draw event. No, you know what? That makes sense. Sometimes I make the mistake of putting stuff in the wrong events. No. Shift tab. Okay. Where is it? Even though I need to do things in stages, there's no reason to not have this bit in its correct location. Beautiful. So I just want to try this one more time because it was written incorrectly. If it detects anything, it should say test. How long is this video? Okay. Programming! Because once we figure this out, the rest should come quickly. Ooh, it detects something. Hang on. Because sometimes I fix it by going through all this process and going, I swear I did that. And the answer is, you probably didn't do that, John. You probably had a mistake somewhere and you just didn't know exactly what it is. There's a sign main text somewhere. It doesn't equal no one. Let's look at the create event. I deleted any of the thing that should make it equal no one. It should also have these on. That I'm not sure. That is fluffy. Beautiful. Okay. I swear that's what it said before, but whatever. Whatever. Like, I guess shuffling stuff around so it was in the draw event may have done it. Who knows? But surely this means I can put the rest of the text in now. Before we move on, because Cloud is never going to have the next lines, and arguably it shouldn't even be detecting them. It's my phone, sorry about that. You should only try and detect signs if a particular element is true, which is if it's a particular type of object, which I haven't even made yet. We can make a vague version of that object. It will need a heart, so I'll just copy the simplest object I have, which will be the save point. Let's do that right now. It's called witness. So, OBJ witness. Getting ahead of yourself though, John. Called Witness X because I used to have loads of them. I don't actually need loads of them anymore because I improved my code. Let's call this Testament, which is a ridiculous name, but because it's not going to need any of this stuff in. Scan heart equals false, which is the important element. You can see I already tried doing this. You know what? We'll do this later. We'll have to change what it looks like. In fact, you can look like a weird tree thing when it's unfinished. We'll have a look at that later. We actually want Witness open. So you can see I already tried to have all this stuff first of all, we're just going to deal with the main text. In fact, arguably, you should never have any other stuff anyway. So the thing about this object here is it works differently because it's a monolith and it's not a denizen, right? So this is probably going to break. If we look at the room, you can see I hit it up there for reasons. If we put this back, doesn't need to be exact, John. Right, we're going to see what it does. In fact, words. Okay. You can see what I'm trying to do here is this creates a scannable section. I call it a scan heart. So what this should do is create a scan heart with this information built inside of it that I can scan, because this object wasn't scannable. The monoliths originally were only scannable if they had hearts in, and then I realised, no, I want all objects to be scannable, because that's how people are interacting with the world. It's one of the major changes. So it means a bunch of stuff that I've painstakingly taken hearts out of, I'm going to have to put them back in rather awkwardly. Specifically, this object here, that symbol right there. So the heart is only in either the left or the right one. So the other one you couldn't scan, and now I want you to be able to scan it. You just can't trigger them both. And that should be reasonably easy for me to do, but I say reasonably. And there's a couple of other things that just weren't scannable before. This one as well. You put hearts in, one there, and one there, and then it goes in the center and becomes a new thing. And I made it so the center wasn't scannable. It took quite a lot of work to make it not scannable. But then again, having an entirely new object that's got a simplified scan does kind of make sense. It means it's less likely to break. What are we doing? I was explaining so. Okay, we are still. Okay, this doesn't need to be here. We can delete this. Why is its volume text none? I don't know. Okay. No, we're looking at this even. Let's see what happens. Let's put my crash thing on. Stop. Put the crash thing on. So bear in mind, we've already solved the problem, which is I couldn't get that scan to work, and it wasn't a problem. It just something wasn't working, and now it is. That's programming. I swear that was set up the same way. The only thing that's changed as far as I'm concerned is that equals no ones have been moved to a different place. Anyway, let's look at gift horse in the mouth. That's a thing you're not supposed to do. I'm not really sure what a gift horse is. Is it like, hey, here's a horse? And I go, I live in a flat. I'm not allowed pets as it is. I'm not allowed a horse. And he'd be like, don't look it in the mouth. And then he sods off. And I'm like, oh, I guess not. But I mean, I need to get rid of this horse still. Anyway, that scenario aside. Let's see if this crashes again. It works! It crashed last time. They were... Awesome. Awesome. I'm excited about this. Because I'm not going to fill in all the information. That's busy work that I can do without recording. So, like, that all says... This is a save... Hang on. Let's give you an example of what this was supposed to do. Is a save point. The denizen should already actually have the correct thing, which is that. Shouldn't need those. Shouldn't scan them. No, Ron. Let's test that out, like with reasonably good writing. I don't know why it shouldn't change, right? So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to play all the levels I've ever made and just see if there's writing there. The other thing I wanted is I wanted it to be level specific. So scanning, like you're going to be scanning the same object lots of times, right? Because you'll meet you interact with the... It's a box. You're going to interact with the box lots. So, the first time it might have information on how to push the box. Press B to push box, which is something I didn't build a tutorial for because I couldn't be bothered. I didn't have a pushable box when I was doing the tutorials. But now, I can have that say, press B to press box. And then afterwards, the next time you see a box, maybe it'll remind you. Maybe I randomize them. Maybe I have level-specific ones. Bit of flavour. We'll see. This is a save point. It's down to jump off ledges. We don't quite have enough room to do what I wanted to do for that. Ah. So that is an issue, which is, I mean, yes, I have more room, but the room was only supposed to be used for bigger things. Now this way it feels like everything is... I mean, the answer would be to just have things occasionally bring out more stuff regardless. And then we use the longer descriptions. So if you've got the magnifying glass out, it will automatically get the first line out. And if you don't, it leaves everything hidden because the player doesn't want to see it. But only ever that one shows all the time. I'll have to make a note of that. Because otherwise, I'm just always going to have, even with the small writing, I'm always going to have stuff that doesn't fit. Even that doesn't actually... Oh no, I mean it would fit the longer line, wouldn't it? So that's a weird middle point, but it means I break my rule of only testaments having the long texts. So it means... What does that mean? Well, it's a good test case, actually. Because now, I want to have a number. Let's say... there we go. It could scan... There's two ways of me doing this. I could either have a number built in every single one, or it could scan the no ones, which I'm going to be forced to do. The logical answer, which isn't always the best one, would be to just have the no ones and automatically scan the number, because I need to do that anyway. So why am I adding a potential fail option of John writing the wrong number? Do you know what I mean? Which does mean having... It means I have to have those written in every single thing. Those no ones. John, it's fine. More writing doesn't mean bad code. So, I'll tell you a story. It's relevant. Oh my word, we're on 44 minutes. I'm going to do a part 2 of this video, basically. We've sort of succeeded in what we were trying to achieve anyway. So I'm actually kind of happy. So, yes, that cascade. If we go into Draw-Guri, so the cascade is one of these places. Where is the cascade? It's got to be in one of these because... Oh, what am I talking about? Yes, sorry, I forgot to code for a second there. So yes, these are the banners. The texts are in here. So yes. So the writing on the text is determined by these, which literally the job is to just fetch. That fetches the right writing. This places the writing. Right? And these are just drawing the banners, telling me where. So specifically what's important is this word here, banner main, banner 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is an X coordinate. And what the code does in step, possibly in one of them, it'll be in one of the steps. See all the code. Beautiful. Okay, I should have an entire section dedicated to cutting this out. So, I've forgotten how to do that, but I'm going to do one now. So fill scan, let's put that in there. What's it called? If we go to the player, I might be out of sync, so I shouldn't do that. Something I should be doing and never do is these region codes, region and region end, just to make your code a lot neater. So if you look at the end of that, it says end region. Back. And just copy that. Alright, I'm closing down. So what I'm going to do is do that here. Delete all this. So that region, let's rename it, is banner slide code. So what these do, in fact, and you can subdivide as well, because this is a lot of code for one thing. Cool. So what these do, in case you're interested, and a count equals 0. Okay, don't worry about counts. Go one. One, it determines whether I've locked the ability for them to slide in and out. And whether they're hidden or not, because if they're hidden, they don't come out. And there's a whole bunch of code to say which state it's in, whether it's sliding, whether it's out, whether it's in. But the bits that's interesting is this. So all this says is that curve, there's a bit of code I wrote, it's some maths, terrible maths. I've got a friend who's getting into programming, and she's like, there isn't going to be any maths, is there? And I'm like, if there's proper maths, you should be able to just look it up, because mathematicians exist, and have the answer to your mathsy questions. But if it's simple maths, you should be able to logic it out. And all this maths does is, say there's a bar, say this is 0%, this is 100%. I want to determine where you are in that bar, right? That line. If you're in the middle, you're 50%. Because the spanner slides, the speed changes where you are in that percentage. So these are the different speeds. So when it's at its fastest, it goes 13 pixels per frame, per step. And at its slowest, it goes 1.5 pixels per step. And these all determine where we are in the speed, right? So that's all that does. And I wrote a script for that. But what I used to do, this is why I decided to go on a 4-minute tangent, is to make the cascade effect work. I was like, when the banner's halfway, maybe I say in this code, oh, the next banner can go. We've slid across the amount we want. You underneath can cascade now. So what I used to do is, so all this code, because it's in a script, I have to return a number. So it's returning that speed to the code, so another bit of the code can grab it, based on all these arguments and stuff. But what I had is I had to build an array, because there was going to be a second thing to return. And you can only return one thing per script. I was really happy. I was really proud of myself that I managed to put... Not only did I use an array, but I managed to put an array in a script. And then... instead of... Because that equals that. So the return, that, based on these numbers, i.e. the left, the right, and where it currently is, it does the code and then returns the number. But what I could have done is made it so it's 0. So that would say, oh, this is an array now. This is the 0th position of the array. This would be the first. So I could return two things like that by doing that. And I could have and all I needed to do is return a true or false. Does the next one go true or false? That didn't work. It looked fine. It worked occasionally, but it just didn't come out consistently. Sometimes it didn't come out at all. And then I realised, you know what's a smarter idea, which is not to tie those two systems into each other. Now it just counts. It goes 1, 2, 3. You go on 3, 4, 5, 6. You go on 6, 7, 8. No, you go on 9. And whenever you move away, it resets it back to 0. That's like this should even be a script because I use it all the time. Make this a script because I use it all the time. Yeah, you have no idea. It's just like there is an inbuilt timer. So if you go here and add an event, you don't have to come here to add an event, but you can add alarm, and that's a timer. And when I first started, I was using those. Like I was on the internet going, how do I determine the timing? It's coming too early. Timer. No, I don't. The only reason to use alarms, I think, is if you have like a master thing going on in the background that's sitting outside of but you can have objects sitting outside of the current room. I can see this come in handy, but if it's a local event, just tick, because you can just let's put it this way, right? If you click left, my character walks left. So what that is, it's saying your position is your position plus 1, say. If you don't do the your position twice, it will just teleport. So your position equals 10. It's just going to stay at 10. It won't even move past 10. But if it's your position plus 10, then once it's moved there, your position is now a new position plus 10. So it's just going to redo that calculation every single time. But I don't need to have an X coordinate for that to work. I can just make up a number. I can say G equals 0. Now G equals G plus 1. You don't even have to write that. You can say, I don't know why G equals G plus equals 1. And that'll do it. So that is exactly the same as G equals G plus 1. Both those things will just increment G forever. And that's 1 per step. So the computer has essentially frames or steps and is constantly going through them. So, 60 frames per second. But a frame isn't the same as a step. But it just means you figure out how quick steps are and you go 12, wait 12 steps and then do it. And anyway, we're almost on an hour. What am I going to do now? That took way too long to explain. Everything takes a while to explain. But I am actually doing stuff at the very least. Oh yes, I got distracted by explaining. I hope this is interesting. The thing that happens with me is sometimes I find like a coder that I really like, and I just go through their entire history. And if somebody's like that, if someone's like me and they like my game, then I'm hoping you like these videos, even if no one watches them when they come out originally. And I enjoy making them. Case in point, Prison Architect. I've not played that much of that game, but I have watched all of the videos of them releasing all their new stuff, because I find it really interesting. Anyway, what are we doing? We don't want that. We might have, actually. We are determining whether it's more efficient to put these in everything, or, say, making a brand new thing that says number. Now that number is going to have to exist somewhere. So let's go to this sign. Bear in mind, that's going to do it for all nimbuses right now. But I might want it to only... Okay, there's 2 options, and... Fine. sign amount. Oh no, I shouldn't be using the word sign. Just try not to use words that are already words because it's really annoying. Our banner counts as already a thing. So I want you want to have meaningful words so you can read it. John, just put slide amount. Number of slides equals 2. I want it to be 3, don't I? 3 is a good test as well. In fact, this is going to say test. We're going to move this here. And obviously that has to be above. Actually, it doesn't really need to be above at all. So that is going to say this is a ledge. You can jump up. You can jump up. You can jump up through ledges and press down to jump off ledges. Pause that video. What are you talking about? It doesn't matter the exact wording, John, because you can change it later. Number of slides. So the idea, this might take a little bit of coding, and I might just let you go and have the second video be after I've done all this. But not just yet. But I think an hour is about the maximum I want these videos to be. 5 hours is excessive, and also I need to eat. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to dynamically know how many I've needed. So, I'm going to want to be in this. I don't know why I didn't... Yeah, I closed that one. I didn't want to close it. Make this full screen. It means every single thing is going to have... where is it? Where's the scan? It'll be in the draw GUI, won't it? No, it won't. Scan's in a different step. Okay, really wish I didn't close that down. That bit. Look for one of these. I just copy and pasted a different thing though. Ledge to the set point. I'm looking for something in the engine. Where is it? It must be here. Okay. Yeah. If... How are we going to do this? Let's have a little think. I want to... that main text is always going to show. No. I want to... That main text is always going to show. The size might be different, but the main text might change. So, first, I want to check the number. Then, I want to get them. Then I want to scan. Okay, while I was fiddling about doing this pointlessly. Hang on, what? Where is it? Okay. If equals 1 or more. Okay, so I can have all these be single lines. I was thinking about indenting them because but the 1 or more will do that anyway. And then I want this, but not obviously that line. I want a version of it. So I just need to get the correct terminology. It's this. Okay. And what's nice is the numbers line up to this. So number of slides. I guess that would be 2. It doesn't. It could be 0. Like, there's no reason for me to adhere to the convention of starting with 0 or even starting with 1. It's whatever's most readable to me. So if I write down, I could have a stock code. I want it to read 3 slides. 1, 2, 3. And that's how I mentally remember that. So this code will always start with 2. Because the 1 always shows. 2 is the only reason for that to show. 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4. 6, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that should be all I need for the time being. Because the clever bit is afterwards. I may as well say now. So the clever bit is me having it automatically slide a thing out when it's needed. And only when it's open. The testaments, for signposts, everything will automatically slide out because the only reason to look at a sign is to read that writing. Oh, there we go. You know what happened there is it's not written. Let's do this again. We're going to need this, don't we? Hopefully, that's all this needs. Make that equal 1, and it shouldn't ever look for the other ones. That should hopefully help, because the problem is if I don't do it like this, then it won't crash every time I have a new object. Number of slides I don't like. Lines of text? Lines of text actually makes sense. That's something we don't have to worry about on screen. We are slightly over an hour, but... There we go. Didn't crash. Didn't crash. So I may leave you here because this bit's the complex bit. So right now, I don't need it to be automatic because that's a separate bit of code. But what I do need is for it to only let me, because I'm manually cascading right now, and that shouldn't be an option. You either manually have the magnifying glass out, or you turn that off. That's manual, but all the cascading is supposed to be on the game's end. So I do have now a number, which is the number of slides. So we go to this. Okay, that absurdly long code here. No. It's here, isn't it? Okay, cool. Number of slides equals no one. We're going to have to make sure that resets as well. Number slides. Sorry, it should be all together. Just to make it easier to remember what the hell all this stuff does, that I just foolishly haven't. No, I don't know why I looked at scan heart. Okay. Shouldn't really be in the draw thing because it's not a drawing, and it might break because of that. Number of slides equals no one, so I might want to put it in the thing. It's no one and not zero for a reason, by the way. Step. Okay, yes. So this is going to change how this works, and I may have to do a lot of programming here. I don't know. I'm going to assess it first. If we can do it quickly, I'll do it on screen, and if we can't, I'll let you go. Ha. Okay, you know what? That can't. Ha. Okay. There are potential issues. It needs to know something, right? In order for it to slide in, so I've made it so it knows it in this code. It actually has states depending on whether or not the magnifying glass is in. So this one is full to hide. They're called full to hide, hide to half, and yeah, go to full. So all of these are going to have to change. Full to hide. Okay. I'm trying to determine the smartest way of doing this. And it's always these magic numbers. Shouldn't have magic numbers in your code anyway. So this will have to change. And Oh, the issue I'm having is right now the cascade is done manually, so it can come out with no information on, and I'm having to write code that says only show when there's information, which is sort of counter to the temporary code. So, how do I even begin? So, we start, this is how we begin. What's going to happen is it's going to break the automatic code, which is kind of good. So we're going to start on hard. I don't know whether I can do this quickly, but we know the game starts in a certain state. In fact, I don't know why I'm loading the game to show you this, because it says here somewhere. One of these enums. Okay, banner state starts in half show. Nope, that's word banner. Yes, yeah, word banner starts in half show. I don't need that one, John. The half show. Okay. We follow the code. Huh. So we can either put it on to hide or we can go to full. So we're going to go full. So I just needed to follow around my code to make sure I'm doing it correctly. Go to full. Cool. Have we definitely got the number of slides? Have we scanned the number of slides? Because I need to do that before. True target. It's up there, John. I forgot to scan. If doesn't equal no one. Okay. So now now I can remove the true target from all of these. Let's not yet. Put a note that says I should be able to remove true target dot from below. Always do the doesn't equal no one, because that will just stop your code from breaking a lot. So we have the number of slides written in our code, and it's no one's. So I don't know why I put it there and not up there as a thing that I scan. Okay. So the only thing I'm trying to think this out logically. So it's counting. That goes immediately. That, then that, then that, then that, then that. Depending on this number here. This number now. We're going to have some new code, which is second trigger, trig second, trigger second, trigger's already a thing, trig second, trig third, trig fourth, trig fifth, trig sixth. So right now, equals 1, 2. So what I'm doing is I'm changing these magic numbers to code. This should actually be so it's confused because they're not in any of the rest of my code. So if do this first. Yeah. We're going to change these numbers. And then we're going to say this one changes the banner main. And that will work regardless. That is fine because it's based on the magnifying glass bar. So that will always come out in a go to full scenario. And if it's already out, trig second will happen immediately. So if number of slides equals number of slides is one thing, John. I'm trying to figure out exactly how this works. Number of slides. If it equals 6, I think this is the easiest way of doing this. Else equals 5. Now the order should be correct, actually. Okay, this bit of code actually doesn't make sense in go to full, but it's going to be important when it's putting them back in. We're going to comment on this. Because it's useful code, it's in the wrong place. The only thing that's determined by this is now I say if banner complete equals if banner complete. Cool. Equals false. So I just need to make sure this have to hide. It's half. full hide. Banner complete hit needs to equal false in all of these because it needs to reset. Did I? Oh yeah, of course I did. So if banner complete, then it does that. Okay. Like I say, if number of slides equals 6, nope. Okay. Is that correct? So all that does is everything to the left, then that's true. I'm just going to copy this and do this all the other times. 4, 3, 2. It's only ever going to be 2, I think. 6, 5. That says 4 done. We skip that one. Or there might be a smarter way of me doing this. But if you can't think of the smart way, do it a stupid way. If it works, it works. 2. Six, 5, 4, 3, 2. Fine. Let's say that, but I worry that I'm now going to have number of slides in everything. Okay. That's not going to work. I don't think. It's just going to be 1. So now, hopefully, this code works. Let's see if this works. There are issues. We'll save. We're not. So we have 2 places we can do it. If we press play, it's gonna break as soon as I try and close because I've not written that code. So, there are actually 4 things I can do right here. That should be double. Okay, I've now made it crash proof. I'm just gonna put these in because you should. Actually, I'm not sure. No, not those. But it's fine. There are 4 things I should test. But I think that makes sense. And that other code should be in the openings version. So I need to have both sets of code. It should know the banners, slides, positions. we're going to need to have... I'm going to keep the cursor there. We're going to need to have this object, obviously. So don't worry about that. Now, if I press the left button, nothing should come out. Cool. And if I press the... I don't know what happens now. If I press this down, yes, it's confused, which is fine. That worked. It's just hard to see from your perspective because you don't know what buttons I'm pressing. Level restart. Now, that is something I need to fix. That the menu doesn't turn off. Right. Now I need to hide this first, then press that. Okay, that's weird. That shouldn't have done that because all of those should have equaled 0. That's interesting. Fascinating. Okay. Now I'm going to scan this. Okay. That didn't work. What I'm going to do, I think I'm going to let you go here. What I might do is add a bit on the end when I've got it working. You get the general idea. I'm now going to have to faff, and maybe we don't need to spend 4 hours watching me faff. It's not going to take 4 hours, but I'm going to eat right now. So I'll add an addendum after this bit. After I've done a little bit more work. And genuinely, I don't think it's going to take very long. But that is one of those weird things that might stop me for a while. Anyway, yes. The plan is for it to dynamically know how many... Like, it should auto-trigger when I scan it. But that's not something I've actually written in. Right now, I need to manually trigger the extra things, which is bad anyway, but... Yeah. We'll go to the future now! Hello, I'm John Steppens, and I'm the lead developer of Tyrantagonist Games. Totally a real company. I'm making a game. It's called Pluck. You can sort of see it here. And I thought I'd show off some features I've been working on for the last couple of weeks. Last week I started a recording of me programming this feature, and I decided I didn't want another 5-hour video, so I actually stopped that about an hour and a half in. And I thought I was pretty close to finishing, but well, I've done a week's worth of work since that. I'm not entirely sure how this video is going to work yet, because I thought it should definitely be a standalone video, because I want to quickly go, hey, here's the new stuff. But obviously, I have to append this to the end of the other video as well. We'll see how that works. But potentially I'm repeating myself. Sorry about that, but I thought I'd better explain stuff just in case. So if you're wondering why it goes biff like that, it's because in the code I just turned the sound off because I've heard the music to this game a lot. Anyway, let's press new game and move my mouse away. So yes, in case you know nothing, well, this is the tutorial. In fact, the tutorial's the main thing I'm working on right now, because I think it's one of the things I didn't do very well in the last version of the game. So this arrow above Henry's head, I'm probably going to get rid of. It's a bit patronising, but this is the new style of tutorial. So in case you know nothing about this game, it's going to be a puzzle platform. You can see the platforming here, and I can't really show you the puzzle because I've essentially broken that part of the game to get this part working. But yes, we can move, we can dismiss that tutorial. Basically, oh, my phone went off. Lovely timing. I'm going to pick up an object in a second over there, and it gives me the ability to take things... Oh, look, that cloud's drawn wrong. Let's say this cloud has a heart, and it makes the heart makes it solid. So with this object, I'll be able to take that heart out, and then I'll be able to fall through it as if nothing was there. And then maybe I could put it in another cloud, make it solid again, and I can use that to jump up. That's the basic gimmick of the game, but maybe that heart makes things bouncy, or maybe it makes things swimmable. I don't know, it can have lots of things. That's the point. So, if we jump up here. So here's another tutorial. It's telling me that the scanner's there, and how to use the scanner. So this is the heart scanner. And you'll notice a bunch of UI comes up. I can now, as that says, tilt the right analog stick, scan in that direction. Now, this is all stuff that I'd already programmed, but it's telling me to scan an inhabitant. So the new stuff, ignore that bit up there. We're going to remove that as well. It's this up here, which is vaguely new. Now, I'd already done some of it, which you would have seen in previous videos. But if we look at this object here, you'll note that now the magnifying glass, the focus bar, actually says words in it. Lovely. So I've done lots of little things, and I'm going to painstakingly explain them. So one thing is you may be hearing some no copyright music. I hope that's no copyright music. Otherwise, yeah, it's going to be very frustrating. Otherwise, I have like a silent video. It's a bit weird. So yes, when I focus on an object, the cursor now remains. It used to just completely disappear because you're supposed to be looking at what it's focusing on. But now I've made it sort of see-through. It means for a moving object like that thing there, you can track it. So yes, you can now... The idea of the focus bar is just to give... means I can sort of tutorialize littler things without having entire screen filling stuff. So I can just tell you it's a save point without having a massive thing. It says the name of the object and that it's active. If I restart the level and quickly run through these tutorials, if I scan it, it's dormant, so I actually have to touch it or it changes. One thing, which is a bit of an error, so if I look at that and I move it away, obviously the writing goes away, but if I just simply let go of my cursor, because it doesn't do anything, it keeps it still. It keeps the information on the screen, and I don't know if I want that or not, but it's not a super important error. Like as soon as I move the cursor again, it comes back. So I'm hoping you've noticed this brand new object here. Like, this is why it took me a week, because occasionally I go, I just need an object. It doesn't need to look like anything, and then I painstakingly draw it and animate it. We're going to come back to that. So if I look down here, so you can see, actually let's go back to this first. I want to explain what I've done. So you'll notice the writing is smaller there to indicate that these are that Who on the Witness is a sort of header, it's a title, active is an important title, but this is a save point is the focus writing. It's the text underneath the titles. But if we go to this ledge, you'll notice that now it will slide, it will cascade those things in, which is something I wasn't originally going to do. Cascading was only going to happen with those signposts, these ones here that I'm deliberately not pointing at just yet. But I decided it's just too hard to not ever have too much writing. So now it's painstaking. There's a lot of code dedicated to finding out whether an object has enough writing to pull out more banners, as I call them. You'll notice, hopefully, if you've been paying attention. If you haven't, I'll explain the menu. Let's get off this because reasons. So in the top right hand corner, those two bars have like a square with a dot in. So you can see the square. It's a circle, whatever. A white circle with a grey dot and a grey circle with a white dot. And the whole idea is when I do the tutorial, I can say this is the title of the object that you're scanning, and this is what's inside the object you're scanning. And then there's like very simple, the simplest drawings, icons I could do, because the big icons technically mean different things. That big icon there says it's a monolith. Whereas if I look at this, that's a faceless. You see, it gets a different icon. So I realised, okay, I'm going to have to actually put a second icon there. So yes, but you also notice, hopefully, so there's little writing on. You can jump down through the ledges, which is true, and you can jump up through the ledges, also true. I need to draw a little picture to tell people that the down button does that as well. And you might be thinking, well, if you have to draw a picture, surely you could have done that as a big tutorial. I just don't want to have big tutorials for everything, alright? I've done 2 weeks of stuff, so I didn't have to do 5 minutes of drawing. Anyway, so yes, the small writing is in those bottom 2 bars, but I had to change the font, and I'm not super clear on that font, where it says Ledges, so it's not the same font as where it says Active, but it's not small writing, and I'll play around with the font. The other thing is, because I've got everything at different bloody lines, like I managed to put Ledges in the middle there, but when we scan these things, finally, so let's scan that. I've tried to center it, like I can fiddle around, but the problem is there's just less space. So you can see the font is slightly different, but I have to play around with the font. So I might have that magnifying glass actually come out a little bit more, so I can have the full bar, so I can just have everything centered. Like, those top two don't need to be centered, they're their own thing, but these 3 and these 5, are these 6 even? Yes. You can see they're centered. And they cascade in and out. Now, this code is actually what took the most time. Cascading wasn't too hard to do. So, there's numbers involved as well. So, it doesn't just slide at a uniform speed. It actually slows down once it reaches the end. But I've got to fiddle with those numbers. But the problem is, if you do this, if you go on and off, sometimes it breaks. And I tried for like literally a goddamn week to go, why is there a bar stuck in the middle? Continue bar, there's no reason for you to ever be in the middle. And then I went, screw it, I don't care. If it takes more than a second, just go to where I need it to be. So you see where it whipped back? That was the code. That's an error, by the way. That's the code going, oh, you want it back. So it is supposed to go back faster. So there's the speed. That takes about, I don't know, 2 seconds. That takes 2 seconds. But if you start scanning and then change your mind, it will actually go back slightly quicker. What happens is, if for some reason that code there, which I was going to fix before that video, but maybe it's a good illustration. There you go. You can see it right there. That's not an error technically because I programmed that in. That's the fail-safe. If it's taking too long, it just whips it back. But obviously that fail-safe doesn't need to kick in for another second or so. And it's probably because the counter, it starts counting there and continues counting there. So I need it to reset the counter. Which should be reasonably easy. But I'm not going to do it in this video because this is not a programming video, this is a showcasing video. But here's the other thing that complicated everything. So if I move from there to there, that's fine because there's only one piece of information. Let's quickly go there, although that shouldn't whip away so far. If I go from there to there, it will... Let's go there to there. So they'll go blank and then it will come back, which is a feature because it used to have the writing on it, got confused. Lots of... Like, here's the thing. It's just lots of messy little things that'll look bad if I don't fix them that you don't really consider. But, like, I just had to spend a lot of time going, look, some people are just going to scan like this, and I just need it to work in those cases and it to not look too bad. That's why this cursor goes like that, so you can continue scanning like that. I encourage you not to go off and on, off and on, and off and on. But here's a second feature, which I wanted all along, so I can close it down. Now, I don't know why it goes red. Red is not like an off colour. It needs to go a dull grey, doesn't it? So, if I turn that off, it doesn't give you the text for that or for that. Because the whole idea is that that's additional information. It's not always tutorial. In fact, most of the time, it's just going to be flavour text. So turn it off if you don't care. You can turn it on. There's a little kind of weirdness with that one where it has to do the slide bar and then do that. And it's the same for this. Where I can turn that on and off. Oh, the other thing is, yeah, I can do it halfway through. It's fine. In the same way I can do this. Oh, and yes, but these are signposts. So it doesn't matter if that's off. The signposts will always show the text because the only reason to look at a signpost is to read the signpost. Otherwise, it's just going to say Arcane Sigil, which is my name for a signpost. I did have to draw a new picture for that book. It's the Testament symbol and the eye because I realised. So in the game, hearts usually contain like clay hearts. Here it says empty heart over there. That's if I take a heart and put it in here, it'll put it in that object. And sometimes I was like, oh yeah, I can have the heart sort of count numbers. So I have like a third, 2/3, and I can have on and off. But it just didn't make any sense for the sign, so I just put an eye symbol there. I drew a new thing. Like that might change. So guidance there means that this is tutorial text, even though this clearly isn't. It's example text. Makes slightly more sense of this. So yeah, programming the Arcane Sigil, because I couldn't just have a sign, I needed to have an entire system with animation and stuff. That's the main feature. It randomizes between 12 runes, which took me longer than I care to say to draw, and I'm still not totally happy with them. Yeah. That's basically it. Things like this. So there's the focus banner. Press the right button to hide the focus banner. So the very last thing I programmed was the ability to turn it off while it's focused. That's turning it on. Those colours are confusing. So it starts off, I scan that, I turn it on, and then when I turn it off, only peels away those last two because the scanner's still on. I feel like it probably doesn't look complex, but the problem is these are all like different systems that now have to interact each other and not break. And that's what's taken me a week. They don't break. So I'm sure this isn't terribly exciting, but it took me a long time, and I'm hoping it will improve my game a lot. That I can now just have these little tutorial things to supplement. I don't know why I had to close that because I was trying to show it. To supplement these big tutorials. This is how big tutorials are how to play the game, and the little tutorials are the minutiae that I can just remind people. I'd say those icons. I'm probably never going to use that many bars, but I programmed them just in case. And if I ever wanted story, that's how I'm going to deliver some of it. So yeah, there you go. That didn't take very long, 15 minutes. Not the most exciting thing in the world, because this part of the game making process isn't terribly exciting, I won't lie. Because it's not the game bit, it's just the bit around it, it's the GUI. But yeah, I'm happy with it, and I'm going to put it online. So I'm going to let you go now. Before I let you go, I guess I should show you a little bit of the code. What was it? You know what, I might just leave it. I think you can see these green bits was me trying to make it so the banners keep sliding, because sometimes this code is really simple. It just says, is the banner to the right? Is it supposed to be going left? Move it to the left. And this bit of code says, has it started moving to the left? Well, I'd continue, please. And just me trying to come up with different variations of, please go to the place I want you to go, not understanding why it's stopping. And eventually, this is the bit of code here, the clock. The clock says, what's the banner clock? Oh yes, I set the clock up here, I think. Where did I set the clock? Oh, the clock is set here. So 13 seconds. Oh, no, not 13 seconds. 13 steps. If this isn't finished, it's just going to go where it's supposed to anyway. And that's how I solve the problem. It's a band-aid. It's duct tape. It's not quite what I want, but the game's playable and won't crash. And to be honest, the only way you're going to see that error is if you're deliberately going out your way to scan multiple things in quick succession, which hopefully they shouldn't even be that close. I do have to redesign the start of the tutorial with these new elements in mind, because now I have to tutorialize the tutorial. I have to tell people what the GUI does and how to press the button, stuff like that, in a way that doesn't overwhelm people. And that's the biggest worry now, that I'm accidentally built a system that's going to make tutorials as complex as the thing I was trying to avoid in the first place. But I think it's better. You can go back, you can reread it if you want. Yeah. I don't think I really need to show you anything else. One error I spent ages trying to fix was I wanted these to be one bit of code, right? There's one bit of code for the signs, and if I go into here, I can change the words, right? Because I want to change the words for each individual one. I don't want to program a new object. And I couldn't get it working. I was like, why is this system not working? I was putting it in the creation code, which is something I haven't used since I realised variables sort of did it much better, which is why variables wasn't in an earlier version of GameMaker, like for a year before I started. And then I found out later on that wasn't the thing breaking it. The thing breaking it was that I used. What did I use? Basically, there's a bit of code. Hang on, it's not in here, is it? It's scan heart, I think. So if we open up scan heart, I'm showing you the secrets now. So this object isn't what you're scanning. This creates a new object that you scan. It's called scan heart, which is like a standardized thing that you scan. And in this code, See, it has a picture that doesn't even represent it because you never see that picture. I can delete that now. Because... yeah. So layer equals whatever. That broke it. It just hated the fact there were two of them on the screen. Now I just had to do this, which does the same thing. So there's an example of something that it took me ages to figure out, because some of it's my inexperience. Because as soon as I had this in the game, in fact, I'll show you. I'll show you what happens if I have this instead of this. Normally when I get an error, no, actually I'll show you what happens when I get an error first. Ryan equals Dave. Right? We'll play the game. We'll see what happens if Brian equals Dave. I don't know why I picked those two names. I just want to show you what an error does, so I can kind of explain why it was difficult for me to solve that error. Hopefully this will give me the error. The problem is, it's going to give me an error because it doesn't know what Dave is. Which is, it's going to say that Brian's only been referenced once, which is not the error. We're going to load up the game, and it's not going to work. There we go. And that's wonderful, because I can... that'll say, right here, this isn't working. That's all that says. That says, that's not been set. There's no such thing as a Dave. Right? So, like, when errors like that happen, that's great. I can just go to the thing and go, ooh, why? What have I done wrong? But what this did... oh, and if I go into debug mode, it will literally open up the correct bit for me to look at. Very nice. Let's do that. Let's open up debug. This isn't really my taste of music, but like, beggars can't be choosers. And I'm sure somebody likes this music. Lots of people do. It's got lots of views and stuff. But I just didn't want it to be silent in the background. It's kind of eerie having like that sort of songs. I'm going to make the screen smaller, which I can do. I've got a button for that. When I open up the game now, press new game, I'm going to do that. Now, what I should have done, and I would have figured out, would have done it once and not been... so if I pause right now, I can see the code that it's running through. This is a standard script. In fact, I didn't even write this, which is why it's so professional. It's a script that means you can oscillate two numbers, basically. It's quite good. But I can run through like this, and I should have realised it's going through here. And I was like, I don't know what the error is. Like, well... so what it's doing, it's looping forever. It's never going to leave this section. So that should have told me that something in this section was wrong, which is how I eventually realised what was wrong. But it didn't, because I hadn't encountered that in a while. I was just looking for the error message, and it wasn't giving me one. So that game will never open. Anyway, I wasn't going to show any programming, but I thought I'd show a little bit just to show the process. But yeah. I'm now excited. There's still bits for me to do in the tutorial, but I can now hopefully build the tutorial without having to build any new stuff. What I am going to have to do though is I'm going to have to move that save point. I'm going to have to move that cloud somewhere else because I need to teach people how to read the signs and what all the icons mean, and then I can come back to the other stuff. Anyway, thank you for watching. This has been Pluck. I'm John Steppens. I have no idea how long this game's going to take, but I'm hoping to make a demo soon. I'm going to actually put it out on the internet. This is my intention. All the other demos have only gone out to people I know, and I'm trying to make a demo that I can show people on the internet, which is why I made this YouTube channel. So yeah, thank you for watching.